Hey, passive smokers, cancer in the 40s here. I have to admit that the reason this episode is as late as it is because I put an undue amount of pressure on this episode uh, to be extremely good when it was a perfectly good episode. And not to mention, I sort of lost sight of what my process of podcasting is, which is another creative conversation, which we sort of get into when we talk in the conversation. And on this episode, we have Far From Fact, who will introduce themselves. Amazing podcast, by the way. A link down in the description. Go check them out. Post you finishing this episode. And I know we completed 100th episode, and we should probably celebrate that in some way, which is, well, this episode and the Maha Ghatbandhan vibes that it has. But I will give you a longer PDA message at the end of this episode. Till then, enjoy the conversation with Far From Fact, and I'm gonna cue the fucking. This is the second time we're recording this, full disclosure to everyone listening, because the
Yes,
first time we just sound um, not energetic.
we sound deep fried.
So, nice. By the way, Hussein,
Baked.
Keshav, like, introduce yourself to the Deep Fried Neurons audience.
Okay. Hi, I'm Keshav Naidu. I'm one half of Far From Fact, which is a weekly podcast. We talk about we solve fake problems. We fake solve real problems. How about that? Yeah. Sorry. And in my real life, I run a brand consultancy studio. I do brand packaging design and identity design.
And I'm Hussein Merchant. Hey everyone. Hi, all the deep fried neuron listeners. I'm the other half of Far From Fact. In my real life, I am a chartered accountant. Even the podcast is real life, but like in my professional life, let's put it that way. And I do chartered accountancy things.
Nice.
He does the cash money, guys. We need.
Yes, yes. I help you plan your taxes. Plan in inverted commas.
Nice. Well, actually, you know what? I have half an instinct to just like keep the old intro in, like edit in the old intro because of how great it went.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Maybe we can
Keshav
keep
just
that.
went, he exists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should do both. Maybe have two intros. Why not?
Yeah, of course. You can
Like alternate
introduce
endings, we
yourselves,
can have
both of us.
alternate beginnings.
There's a bisexual joke there somewhere. I don't know. Find it, kids. Leave it in the comments.
Also, you have a crowbar in your hand.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I want to take you
Um,
to a crowbar. What is that song? I want to take you to a
Candy
gay
shop.
bar. That's the song.
Is it Gamer? I thought that
Yeah.
was Candy Shop. Never mind.
No, that's my sense of tune is very bad. So I think the song is I want to take you to a gay bar.
Oh, okay. I mean, sure. Do what you want.
No, you asked me for an alternate bending ending joke. So there's a sitting duck.
True. Anyway, so since Far From Fact fake solves real problems,
Hmm.
they just here to like sort of hear me complain about my pet peeve and then comment on it. Um, because one of the things that really annoys me about being where I am in life, being where I am geopolitically as well, is just the fact that my life is so far affected by something that happened 200 years ago, which is colonization.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, one of the reasons why all of us are in the same country, Keshav is from like Tamil Nadu, you're Gujarati, you live in Mumbai,
Yeah,
and all of us are in the same country because all of us hated the same group of people.
yeah.
Literally, there's no other reason why all of us would be in the same place. Lingually, I think none of us like see eye to eye either. I know about Tamil being having a completely different script and origin, but is Gujarati a different script and origin as well, or is it Devanagari?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. But I feel like if you can read Hindi and if you, uh, that's Devanagari, you will be able to at least read half of a Gujarati sentence or a word because it's
Oh,
similar.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
So it's the same family at least,
yeah.
but like Tamil, I
Don't
I
attempt.
have no. Straight up.
Yeah. It's read vertically, right?
I did not know that.
Fucking with you.
You know, the first time somebody did that to me was like a Japanese person, and I was like, "You're definitely fucking with me."
But that is
That's,
different. Their posters are written vertically.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Ah.
true.
So, deep fried, you said that nothing brings us together except for our hate for the British. But I think hate is the strongest emotion, man. So, uh, hate has probably motivated people to do things that other emotions never made them do. So with I just thought it's important to call that out, that hate is very, very strong. And have you done anything out of hate?
Quite a lot of petty things.
Okay, okay.
Um, like for example, when I don't like my roommate, I hide his earphones,
Oh wow, okay.
and then we get into this like petty squabble about hiding things. So like on purpose, he won't even be hungry. He'll just come in and finish all the fruits.
Oh shit. Again out of hate.
Again, out of hate.
It's very
Okay.
cute, actually, what you're describing. It sounds sorry, I ruined it for you, but it sounds like sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close, and
It's close. That's nice.
also like in this case, it's the kind of hate that doesn't like effect into anything that is super destructive.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
hate that brought us together.
yeah.
So it's, I mean, all my friends, almost all of my friends are like non-Marathi speaking, like people from Rachi, Assam, Jharkhand.
Mm-hmm.
So it is hate that actually fostered love for an entire country of people. So it's not all that bad.
Yeah.
But
Hate. What kind of hate?
um the kind of hate that like my boss is so bad that I would rather work with the enemy of my ancestors
Hmm.
to get rid of them.
Okay, got it.
Like our political system pre-British and post-British is so vastly different. One, because like so many years have passed, but two, also because the constitution is built on the entire fact that we're not the British.
Um, is that what it is? It's built on the fact that we are not British. I think the constitution is built on the fact that we have a British constitution, but we are not British.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I mean, it's basically
We like your
adopting the skeleton.
constitution, but we want to be policed by ourselves.
Yeah.
And the other difference is that the the British, I would say, in the UK, not in the UK,
Mhm.
that they have one constitution for largely one language. I mean, I'm not counting Scottish and Welsh,
Welsh.
um, but it's not so difficult to run. Here we have like so many languages. It's almost like the
Hmm.
European Union, if you think about it. We would have been better
uh,
off as 30 countries unified by rupee. That's okay.
I'm gonna leave that in the recording. I'm so sorry.
That's all
Go
right.
ahead.
I think we would have been better off as 30 countries unified by a rupee,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
the EU was with the euro, or is with the euro. We would have been far more competitive. The healthy, again, sibling rivalry kind of concept would have kicked in,
Hmm.
and there wouldn't have been any dependency issues like certain states complaining about how they contribute so much to the kitty, and the other states just you know benefit from it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know there's states complaining about GST also, no? That
Yeah,
the central
Yeah.
government is not giving them their share or some
their
shit. I
share.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
I mean, if
yeah, sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
you're not in the favor of the ruling government, it's not like you're going to get your share of like
Yeah,
whatever tax allowances you need from the center.
yeah.
It's
So,
an active thing that they do. So
Keshav, I remember once I think you had a theory where different states should have cricket teams. Was it, or am I not remembering that correctly?
I don't remember. I can't remember this theory.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, we say so many things that.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's actually like taking a shit. I'm sorry, but
It's okay. That's all I do.
it's like, some people photograph their shits. We don't.
No, it's listen, podcasting is pure verbal vomit.
Yeah.
I do this religiously. I
Yes.
love this medium,
Yeah.
but it's verbal vomit.
It is. It is. Like sometimes you'll vomit and then you'll analyze it. Like, hey,
yeah.
I don't remember eating a carrot.
Hey, that carrot and kakadi kind of went well together. We should try that the next time.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I have this theory. Okay. And I
mhm,
want both of your views on that. And it came to me probably when I was taking a shit. I don't remember, but I was thinking about even on Far From Fact, what we very often discuss is how Indians are very unique in their characteristics, their behavior. Their brilliance actually at avoiding laws and avoiding laws very intelligently. So,
mhm.
do you feel like that is a direct outcome of being governed by the British or being ruled by the British, where there was such a strict kind of hand, and then when they went away, it's like a kid who's born in a very strict family, going to the US for their undergrad or whatever, and then doing everything over there. So,
Mhm.
do you feel the two are related?
In some ways,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the contrasts between the British Constitution and Indian Constitution is that the Indian Constitution is super descriptive and written,
Mm-hmm.
and the UK has an unwritten constitution.
Okay, okay.
So I see the difference between that as like one of the things that they used to do is try to discipline the Indian public because they're not the civilized people.
Yeah.
And in that method, of course, that means having complete exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their sense of discipline was so extremely European that it just maladapted to like a dusty place.
Mm.
And
Right.
I think those two together went into a place where like we learned we internalized avoiding laws as a part of navigating life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it was completely real, like the entire thing where you will get like hit in the legs if you're walking on the paths through which the sahab goes on his horse
Mm-hmm.
to play
Mm-hmm.
polo. So
That's insane. I think both of you are saying two very important things here. Like, I think Hussein's question is practically a theory.
Yeah.
I
mhm,
love it and I love it. It's almost like saying that, you had disdain for your master, but the master left a rule book behind. So you
Mm.
still continue to have that disdain. And that disdain is now turned into street cred almost, because it's like if you beat the law, you can brag about it,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah, like one of the ways assertiveness works is like dissent from authority, which is
Yeah.
like a consistent theme in both art and popular culture.
Yeah, yeah. Superb, excellent. I think for us, I mean, in the UK, it'll be like or any other part, it'll be, let's say, street art, or murals or stuff like that. In India,
Mm.
it's literally like paying a bribe is an art form.
Yeah, totally. And then, you're not even shy about it. You come
You're
and
not.
brag to your family about
How you
what
did it?
discount you, yeah, and at the discounted rate I paid a bribe. अरे
Yeah,
तूने 2,000 भरा, मैंने सेम चीज 1,500 में किया क्या यार.
yeah,
No, my favorite thing is that breaking the law and then adjusting with the cops is also a brag in our culture. Like, for example, hip hop.
Hmm.
Um,
yeah,
like in America or Britain, you'll hear brags about having like gold chains, iced out hands and neck and whatnot.
Hmm. Hmm.
In India, it'll be like, "Auntie police bula legi to yaar tera karega handle."
Hmm.
ah,
Actual lyrics.
yeah. And how much you saved on a Swiggy discount?
Yeah.
Somebody
We'll
needs to make
brag
songs about
about the
that.
savings.
Actually, you
मेरा
know what?
मेरा
Speaking of,
टैक्स रिबेट इतना आया. Badass, man. Sure.
Speaking of rap about mundane things, have you guys heard Garibi?
No,
Is that an
Uh,
artist or a song?
that's an artist.
Okay.
that sounds really
Uh,
sounds cool. So he's going against the grain of rap.
in some sense, yeah. Um,
Nice.
Basically, the entire album was in response to like Gully Boy,
Correct.
and how Gully Boy, the way it was shot was actually just poverty porn,
Hmm.
Right.
and also the fact that it was politically neutered, and um, the entire deal with uh, Zoya Akhtar directing a movie that's so heavily political but doesn't say anything about politics.
Right. Right. Right.
So like that's what the artist intended for, and they were on the podcast, by the way.
Oh,
If
wow.
you ever
Right.
want to check that
Okay.
out.
That's super cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah. So basically, their entire thing is parody rap about how being poor is a flex,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Kick ass.
but yeah, but some of their I think my favorite song by them is "Swag Mera Fukat Wala."
Ha. Nice.
एंड क्या टी शर्ट मेरे अब्बा का और जैकेट मेरे भाई का पैंट और बेल्ट मेरे माँ के कमाई का
Oh.
और जैकेट बनाया मैंने फटी हुई एक चटाई का
Badass,
so
man. Badass. It's killer.
yeah,
Killer.
yeah,
Killer shit.
I do love a good absurd rap song.
Yeah, so this is not even absurd, I feel. This is like almost saying this is counterculture to what rap is in the West. Even here, it's
Hmm.
born out of oppression, but there they dealt with the oppression by spending. Here,
Hmm.
it's the outcome is completely different and hence original,
Yeah.
which is
um
very unique to us.
I
So
mean there are good let's not talk about rap music, sorry, I'll get lost.
I have an unpopular opinion about rap, and about
Mm-hmm.
rap, that is the whole gully boy kind of popularized rap. I do both of you feel like it is I feel like it's not suited to our language. I don't know why. And I feel like maybe you don't have to rap. I know that there are all these emotions and all which are very similar and comparable, but I don't feel like just chipkawing rap as a form of art to our language and all makes sense. I feel like maybe there are better ways of doing it. And to me it seems, copied, like you're just copying a Western thing and you are
Mm-hmm.
doing it here, when it may not be the best way to express those emotions.
Oh,
I
I
can
disagree heavily with you, Sen. But
Okay, okay. Yeah, I
uh,
wanted
yeah,
opinions.
I can take the center on this one and say like I know the artists
Mm-hmm.
which you could refer to and say that that's a unoriginal flow and that's just a parallel of the West that you're trying to build.
Probably.
But I also know a lot of artists who are doing super original work.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, as much as I like have trouble listening to Says on the Beat, the fans, please don't pollute the comment section on this. I know everybody loves Says on the Beat, but like somebody like Prabdeep,
Mm-hmm.
um, I even like this guy Kambhari.
Hmm.
I find his flow to be super original and super like vernacular.
Yeah, so I think where I enjoy Indian rap or hip hop is that it comes from anger,
Mm-hmm.
and when it is when that anger is real, you can kind of feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and that anger could be anything. That anger could be poverty, anger could be establishment, power
मेरा
skew,
स्विगी
anything.
वाला टाइम पे नहीं
Swiggy
आया.
wala time pe nahi aaya. Because you can also have privileged rap. You can, because
Yeah.
anger is not
Yeah.
the what do you call, the prerogative of the
Hmm.
underprivileged,
Hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
so you can be from Malabar Hill and also uh, rap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think, but the settings have to be right. There has to be enough discomfort for that anger to not come out, and then it finally gets channeled into rap.
I also feel like when it comes to privileged rap, there's like a niche for it, but you have to do it with a certain amount of self
Yeah, tongue
awareness.
in cheek. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do it tongue in cheek. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Who's that artist I was thinking about? I think he's called Solomonophonic.
Oh yeah, sounds really cool. I want to check it out.
He wrote a song. It's not exactly rap. It's very sing-songy. I don't know, R&B probably,
Right.
Mm.
but elements of rap as well. It's a song about how he's rich enough to afford a house, but not rich enough to go on a really good date. So he just takes the girl to Chili's, and the
Super.
song is sexual frustration and Chili's.
That's super cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Welcome
yeah.
to
I
Chili's.
do
Okay,
recommend checking.
I'll check
Yeah,
it
welcome to
definitely.
Chili's. Welcome to Chili's, bitch. I
Sounds
have a
like
table
my
here for you.
jam.
Oh, yeah, by the way, we were talking about what kind of music you guys been listening to. So
Yeah,
like,
so I don't know. Somehow I've gotten into this like dream pop, funk space,
mhm.
or there's a new genre I think discovered inadvertently, and it's being labeled analog pop,
Oh wow.
Analog pop.
which is
Interesting.
basically new music, but um, even though it's well produced, electronic, and all of that, it will always have elements from, like, it'll have a vintage thing to it. Like it'll either take swing, or it'll take something from a funk or
Hmm.
classic rock, or but it's made now, so that makes it little timeless.
Okay.
But lots more
Uh,
new music is being made in that space, and I love that space.
I kind of have a tangent that I can take about a conversation I had with somebody else about this, like because of the for the origin of the same thing. We were talking about vaporwave, of course, which is like a very specific aesthetic in internet culture. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. It just says aesthetic with Helios's face in like pink and blue lighting.
Right.
Um, and one of the reasons why all these themes from the past keep coming back in popular culture in music or visual like culture is because a generation of kids now has nostalgia about a time they never lived in.
Mm.
That's such a great point to make, man.
Yeah, and analog pop sort of at least sounds like um
Sounds like that, right?
yeah, sounds like a result of that.
Result of that. Very cool. That's actually true even for me, because me being my age, even though I'm 41, I let's say I didn't hear Fleetwood Mac when I was growing up, but I heard it, say, after its time, and I'm nostalgic about Fleetwood Mac now that it's
Hmm.
making a, say, resurgence of sorts, where lots of new kids are discovering it, or were
Mm.
discovering it. And similarly, I feel like um, I see no wrong in it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Lucky Ali, I think, got discovered recently by
But
millions of.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is funny, and so I came across a joke about how quickly he was discarded. Also,
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh man.
like in the sense, because it's so fickle. This,
Yeah.
the
Mm.
We
yeah,
have like a running joke with this other podcast, Bad in Bollywood. I know anybody who listens to my podcast, even like regularly, would know about them. Is Lucky Ali the reason his resurgence didn't stay is because it's already been captured by Lifafa.
no, man, Lifafa is so different. Anyway, I like I love Lifafa.
I love
I
Lifafa.
love
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lifafa, but Lucky Ali is a very, very different product. It's like
I think.
he's
Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
no, what I mean, really, all I was saying is that it's melancholy, but melancholy from a different time and a different style. This is melancholy from, I mean, it's far more current, you can say, let's say.
I think the point we were trying to make is that both of them sound drunk off their tits when they're singing. That's it. That's our point of
Yeah,
comparison.
sleepy. I'm sleepy. I want to
Yeah,
go
I'm
home.
sleepy.
I'm sleepy. I want to go home.
Oh Sanam Mohabbat ki kasam, I just want to get some naps. Like just an afternoon nap.
Yeah,
Uh, um, but the reason we compared the two of them is just that their vocal appeal is the same, but their music is vastly different.
yeah. Vocal appeal. Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is going to be high praise, but uh, Rifafa, what's his name? Suryakant?
Suryakant.
Suryakant, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the first time I heard Peter Cat, like a few years ago, when I thought it was Leonard Cohen.
Okay. That is big praise. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, this guy's good.
No, he is great. I think the first time I heard him was because like somebody made me listen to him in a car,
Hmm.
and I we heard that throughout Pune to Bombay, down and back.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. Anyway, guys, go check out Lifafa. He needs a shout out. Clearly, it's not like I have the 400 subscribers.
That's
By the way,
funny.
how has your growth been podcast? Well, like we can talk business in public. It's okay. These guys are hosts here. How has
Uh,
like response been
it's
to
been
Far
good,
From Fact?
man. No complaints at all. So definitely we wish for it to be a lot more, but uh, for the kind of effort that we put in, honestly, I think it's not bad. And given that podcasting is still not that big and all of the usual stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I look at podcasting very differently. I look at it as my superpower, because, which is why I refer to the other thing as my real life.
I
This is where
mean,
we put on capes.
I just put on headphones and a mic, but sure.
Yeah.
Also, what kind of superhero reveals their identity? Like, do you have no fear? Do you fear no man?
You tell me, Anuj.
Thank you.
Sorry, we'll have to edit that. Sorry.
No, no, no. I'll keep it in just for the joke. What was I gonna say? Anyway, so like when you say what the kind of effort you put in, what is the far from fact process? Like, what do you guys do on most occasions?
We don't do much, man. It's just it's decide when we want to record. I think that is 90% of the effort, just figuring out a time for us to record together. Once that is
That's
done,
hilarious. 90% of the work is scheduling.
yeah, and then we just get on a call and we talk about stuff. And then
Hmm.
now, in fact, a lot of our topic suggestions come from listeners, so that is also taken care of in some sense. And
Yeah.
then we just talk, and then there is editing involved. So probably that's something which we do different from, I think, many podcasters, because whenever we say that we edit, and it's to say about 1.5 hour of content will be edited into a 25-30 minute episode.
Hmm.
And so there is heavy chopping of stuff, and many people find that surprising. They're like, shit, man, you guys drop so much. They are very shocked at the amount that gets dropped. But I think that's what keeps the podcast entertaining. And I have no shame in admitting that 60 minutes are cut out of every 90 minutes that we record.
I mean, editing is a very important part of like podcasting in general. I think I was listening to another podcast called like Heavyweight. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
No.
No.
Gimlet Media. I recommend you check it out. It's basically this dude who helps people get weight off their chest.
Mm-hmm.
So he chases these stories into like
Oh, wow.
emotional resolution,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them actually make you cry. It's quite heavy.
Wow. Okay.
Jonathan Goldstein, like, contact me, please. I want
Hmm.
employment. Sorry. um, so basically, one of the things he talked about is this movie that he found very interesting, which had no editing at all, and this Russian director uh, planned an entire 2 days at a Russian museum, got permissions from the state, everything was in place,
Mm-hmm.
and he did not put in a single cut throughout the movie.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
And the the only problem he had with that movie was um, one of the violinists who was in a scene
Mm-hmm.
looked directly at the camera like he was caught like mid masturbation by his parents. I know this because I went and looked at that clip. um, and he never edited that out.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, I always wish I did. So I
Mm.
completely understand, because one of the things I like about a Far From Fact is how tight it sounds.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
editing is how you
that
get it in video.
that takes work, man. There's no hiding the fact that
that
editing
that is
is,
laborious.
yeah, that is the only labor intensive, I think, task in our entire process. And
Hmm.
it takes that attention to detail, I think, to put out a product where the listener doesn't zone out, which I think happens with most podcasts, and it may happen in Far From Fact as well. But if that thing is, I think both of us now have this point of view that if that bit is in there, it's in there because the joke makes sense for that bit to be in there. Otherwise,
Hmm.
it wouldn't be in there.
Okay. I mean, it's creation of what you want to create, I guess.
Yeah.
Because all of my favorite YouTubers that I think back to, editing is the best bit.
Hmm.
Like, never have I appreciated a poorly edited video.
Yeah.
Unless that's the point of it, of course. But
Yeah.
um, usually, even do you guys watch Exobia or what's his name, Bill Words?
No.
No.
Uh, he made this video called "History of the Entire World," I guess,
Oh
Mm-hmm.
wow.
and it's the history of the entire world in 19 minutes,
Wow.
like from the conception of the universe to now.
Oh man, I'm going to look this up. Where do I find it?
YouTube,
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
EXURBIA.
Exobia is that. Bill Wirtz is the one who made like history of the entire world. Bill Wirtz made a video called "Unlimited Rice Pudding"
Mm-hmm.
that basically talks about how you can master time travel and the philosophical quandaries that come with it. But it's such an entertaining and accessible video that it just gets you every time. I think it's 8 or 10 minutes, but during the period of those 8 or 10 minutes, he goes from a hypothetical to being the all-powerful god that comes down to like human society to just give justice and build unlimited rice pudding. Okay. Is Keshav looking at Exobia right now?
No, no. Yeah, I'm trying to find what I should watch in all of this. So I should watch Unlimited Rice Pudding.
Unlimited.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. I've just found the link. I'm not watching it now, but I'll just save it. Yeah. Cool.
On the
Um,
thing of editing, on the topic of editing, just I feel like it also shows that you respect listeners' time, because
mhm.
very often the kind of view is that we want to not edit because the person gets a real experience. But at least for the content that we create, so Far From Fact specifically, I feel if we were not to edit and if we were to leave in a 60-minute recording for maybe just a 7-8 minute laugh, maybe that would be disrespecting the listener's time.
I think it also comes from the fact that you guys do intend to be a comedy podcast, and
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
as as somebody who tried to write stand up for a total of 3 years of their life, I understand that's it's a lot of work.
Hmm.
Like, out of 20 minutes of the shit that you'll rant about, you'll find 5 minutes that are worth using,
Yeah.
and you'll have to like drop the rest. So it's completely fair, like the medium that you're using demands editing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
uh, Speaking of your content, one of the episodes that I we talked about the last time we tried to record this is the adultery one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Back to
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
favorite hobby.
Favorite pastime. Yeah.
Is Hussein married?
Yeah, I am recently married, that too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going great for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, So, one of the things that bothers me about British law, again, and this is, I'm telling to the audience because these guys already know, we talked about this the last time, is the fact that adultery law was put into the penal code of India in 1860, where Macaulay went out of his way to criminalize sex between two people if it is without the consent of the husband. Like,
Right.
there is sheer determination to include your sexual fetish into law. I feel like I feel like it's worth appreciating at least.
So I have a question. When you say went out of his way, is there like evidence to suggest that? Do we know that it's not anywhere else and it's only here?
I'm pretty sure because like the British law has no such thing in the last 100 years.
Okay.
It's like that law on sexuality, like decriminalization of homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in the 1970s.
Mm,
It took us 50 years to get there.
mm,
But what's more surprising, it took us just that long. Like 2018 is when homosexuality gets decriminalized, but also Supreme Court like says adultery is no longer a crime in the way it's written in IPC.
mm,
It's still ground for divorce though. So if the dad who did the adultery bit, you're safe unless the husband of the woman you slept with wants to sue you.
mm.
Okay, kids, that's all I have for you this week. Thank you to Far From Fact, that is Hussein and Keshav, for not only being on the podcast but scheduling two different recording sessions with me, and of course, sort of putting up with my child brain. And a special thank you to every single regular listener on this podcast. I do not think I appreciate the listening time that my listeners spend with me. And I think this is one of the occasions where I am compelled to do so. Special thanks to everyone who's supported me monetarily, especially Nachiket. And I single him out because he has been paying consistently since the beginning of this podcast and is an active listener and one of the best critics of this podcast. I have been motivated to do 100 episodes of this podcast just because of him, and of course, I want to do more projects. I also think I should take the time to thank all of you who bought the merch, which is a lot more than I expected there to be. So, in general, to all my audience, even people who tuned in for one episode and just bailed, thank you so much. It means a great deal to me that you spend any time listening to my content. But I have to admit that at least for the last 4 to 5 months, this has been a significantly difficult thing to do, creating content. I mean, not to say that I don't enjoy it. Of course, I love creating content and I love posting these things on, but at the same time, it has gotten slightly more difficult to create, curate, and edit and write content that I really want to put out. I've become more picky, maybe. There used to be a time on this podcast where every brain fart I had was an episode, but I don't think that's the right way to treat my audience anymore, which is why I'm making a few announcements, which again will be a separate post, so don't be surprised if there's repetition. I kind of want to make content that is worth your money. To be honest, that's sort of been my prerogative for the last 30 episodes. I've been trying actively to improve the quality of my content. I mean, I've always been doing that since the last 2 years, but over the 100 episodes that I've done, I'm going to call it season one of the podcast. I've sort of found my voice as a podcaster, and I'd like to utilize it more sparingly and more deliberately, which is why instead of doing 50 to 52 episodes a year, I'm going to do just 12. I'm announcing that over the next year, there only will be 12 Deep Fried Neurons episodes. And I promise they will be worth your time because they're going to be longer than 20 minutes, number one. Number two, they're going to be slightly detailed. And by slightly, I mean they're going to be excruciatingly detailed in some points. And I also want to announce another thing because I know 12 episodes is not a lot of work that I'm putting on my plate. It is work. And one episode a month is going to be worth the amount of time that I'm taking to create that episode, of course. But I also want to spend some time editing videos by themselves. As a medium of video, I generally feel I underutilize it quite a lot. as somebody who loves watching videos, that is. So there will be 12 video essays as well. So a total of 24 projects is all I'm taking for the next year. But all of that starts only after a 1 month break. I am taking a break from doing YouTube, and I'm taking a break from Instagram as well. I will not be posting anything for a month, and I will see you 1 month later. And I promise you that all of that content will be worth your time. And while we're at 100 episodes, here's to 100 more. I kind of know that at some point, just financial responsibility, time is going to catch up with me. And as unfortunate as it is, I feel like sustainability wise, this podcast hasn't succeeded. Even though the audience that I've gained is amazing. I love each and every one of you. Wet, sloppy kisses. Only if you're into it, of course. Very consensual, wet, sloppy kisses to you. And while the promise of the 100th episode is only till the next 12 episodes, let's celebrate 150. I want to get to 150 episodes of Deep Fried Neurons podcast, but we'll be there in some time, considering how much I'm committing to this podcast currently. And thank you for listening. Bye.